Hey you witches, how you doing today? My name is Taya and I'm back with another video. This is the last video in the Get to Know Me November series, if you will. I have spent all of November doing Q&A tags in the Get to Know You, right? Like we did the More Than a Witch tag, we did the Tradwitch tag, the then versus now tag, all kinds of fun stuff. The 77 questions tag, which ended up like 4 videos. You can check it out in my playlist. I made a Get to Know Me playlist where I have some of the older Q&A tags I've done, plus all the new ones in November. But this will be the last one. And this one isn't necessarily a tag I got from anybody. I just wanted to come in and share a little bit about myself and where I'm coming from, give you some of my opinions, let you know a little bit about me and who I am, and yeah, just sort of wrap it all up. Because basically at this point, guys, I'm living my best life, and I wanted, I guess, to share a little bit so that you all know that it's possible too. So let's jump right into it. So a little bit about me. My name is Taya Kennedy. That is a craft name. That is not my given name. For those of you who know, you know. But Taya is the short form of my longer craft name. And it's just what I've chosen to publicly share my witchcraft under, because if you actually search my mundane name, my whole sales history comes up, which we talk about in a little bit. I'm 45 years old. My birthday is in December, so I'm going to be 46 right away. I am a Sagittarius sun with a Leo moon and a Leo rising. My astrological chart is actually predominantly fire, which you definitely, I think, saw a lot in my 20s. I've mellowed a lot as I've gotten older, and in fact have spent in the last couple of years a lot of effort really harnessing earth energies into my being. A lot of like meditative work, a lot of breath work, a lot of it's like anti-anxiety work. So I've really tried to sort of harness that earthy grounding energy into my being. I live in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta specifically. I mean, I've shared that in lots of videos, so whatever. Yep, I live in the capital city, in Alberta. It's interesting. I really struggle with our provincial politics. They are wackadoo. I live in the capital city. We are a very liberal city, but we're a very rural province, and the rural areas tend to skew very conservative. And yeah, just the way the party lines are drawn is the conservatives tend to win the government here, even though they don't necessarily have the support of everybody. So yeah, I'm very, very liberal. But yeah, I live in Edmonton, Alberta. So I've been practicing witchcraft since I was 19 years old, so just over 26 years, and I dabbled for most of it, right? Most of it I've spent dabbling, going, well, I know I'm not Wiccan, I don't know what I am, I guess I'm eclectic, and 3 or 4 years ago, I kind of stumbled across traditional witchcraft, and I went, oh, this is what I've been looking for. And really what I was looking for was a mystery tradition, something that went a little deeper than just doing some divination, then some spells to make my life better. And so I've really enjoyed my time in traditional witchcraft. I actually initiated into the Spiral Castle tradition of American folkloric witchcraft back in August, after about 17 months of study. It's very public. If you guys want to go and look it up, that system is a very public system. I've got lots of fun hobbies. I've got ADHD, so I've got a ton of hobbies. I love anything fiber arts, sewing predominantly. I'd love to learn to weave. I have a loom, I just haven't learned how to use it. Embroidery, cross stitch, like all that kind of stuff. Debating some macrame maybe in my future. I love puzzles. I find they're very meditative. Any kind of crafting. I just love crafting, painting, gluing things together, you know, and I really incorporate that work into my witchcraft. I love camping, outdoorsy kinds of things. We live about 3 hours from the mountains, so I try to go at least a couple times a year, once in the winter, typically, and once in the summer. I love reading. Obviously, a lot of my reading revolves around witchcraft, but yeah, love reading. And not so much anymore. I'm kind of old and brittle now, but I used to be big into, ballet. I danced for many, many years. rock climbing, rollerblading, and skiing. I'm actually going skiing again in December, the second weekend of December, and I don't think I've skied in probably about 15 years, 16 years, so should be interesting. For work, I graduated university in 2002 with a bachelor's degree in anthropology, specifically physical anthropology. If you watch Bones, that's what I studied, was human skeletal remains in archaeological context. With a minor in French language and literature, I am bilingual. And then I left. It was a very academic career. So my daughter was 3 at the time, and I'm like, I need to get to work. So I started working as an executive assistant, took a new job as an administrative assistant. They trained me as a technical writer. And then I actually had a couple jobs as a technical writer. And then I finally got my last position as a communications officer for an international foreign exchange company. Hey, friends. And that was I left there in 2009 when I was pregnant with my son. So that whole career lasted about 7 years. And I went on mat leave. And in 2010, I decided I didn't want to go back to work full time. I started a direct sales career and ended up in the top 2% of the company. I know direct sales for a lot of people is a little sketch, but I did very, very well with it. And I really enjoyed it. I have to say it was very different from what I thought it would be. And yeah, I mean, I drove the free cars for, I think, 6 years. I had a free vehicle. Literally, like, all I paid for was gas. Everything else was paid for by the company. I went on free trips all over the world. The biggest one was to Argentina, which was really, really cool, and somewhere I never would have gone. It was all expenses paid for me and my husband to go to Argentina. So I had some really great experiences there, but COVID killed my business. And I found that I wasn't really sad about it. I didn't want to be in direct sales till like the rest of my life. That was never my intention when it was supposed to just be a side gig, and it kind of turned into a full-time career. So I transitioned out of that into what I like to call my full-time witchcraft, which is sort of what I do now. It's really focused on community building. So I started my YouTube channel. And in September of 2020, and then the following February of 2021, I started studying with the Red Thread Academy, which were they're very rigorous studies on the Spiral Castle tradition. In August of 2021, I started the Edmonton Traditional Witchcrafters Guild, which is really focused on building non-Wiccan witchcraft community here in Edmonton. And then through the guild, I also teach a little bit of witchcraft, which is kind of fun, and getting paid to do that because the guild is a nonprofit. I don't make any money off of it. And then I also started in June of 2022 a study group for the Red Thread Academy here in Edmonton, Alberta. So yeah, it's been kind of a trip, the transition into more of like a full-time witchcraft career. But I find with my ADHD, because I love all things witchcraft, it's really it's been a good fit for me. So the last thing I kind of wanted to go through is something that sometimes I don't want to say it gets me into trouble, but it's like I have opinions. I am very opinionated, and I have ADHD, and sometimes my thoughts don't always follow a logical train of thought for the people who are like watching my videos, right? And sometimes I am very abrupt and I make weird side comments about things, and people tend to get really uppity about it. And I guess my message is deal with it. That's just how my brain works. But I thought, let's just go through the opinions because I have them all. This is my channel, and I will share my opinions on my channel. That's the whole point of YouTube. Listen, I'm a feminist. Through and through, I am a feminist. I bitch about the patriarchy like nobody's business. What most people don't seem to understand is patriarchy. The patriarchy is not men. The patriarchy is a system that benefits straight white men, but it's a system, right? It's not bitching about all men. It's just a system, and a lot of men unknowingly, right, benefit from it. But women are also part of the patriarchy. Quite frankly, some of the most egregious perpetrators are other women. So when I'm bitching about the patriarchy, it's not like men suck. It's the patriarchy sucks. Sometimes I might say men, but what I'm really bitching about is the patriarchy. Okay? I am anti-cultural appropriation, and I am very, very strict with that. I don't do chakras. right? I don't, I'm trying to think, there's a bunch of stuff. Like I don't smudge. I'm sorry, there's lots of other alternatives out there that we don't need to be taking things from other religious systems and using them out of context and promoting them publicly and, you know, earning clout and money off of them. That's just not, I'm just not cool with that. I support Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color, especially the Indigenous population here in Canada. It is a very Canadian issue. Very egregious the way that the Indigenous population in Canada have been treated over the years, and we as a country need to do better. I think there are strides being taken towards sort of, you know, attempting to fix the situation, but we need to do more. It is a very Canadian issue. I am an LGBTQIA plus ally. Love is love. Trans rights are human rights. There is no debate over that in my mind. It is what it is. And yeah, so sometimes I might say weird things, weird asides about stuff. That's usually where it's coming from, is one of those opinions that I have that I don't really think for the most part are opinions. I think they're matter of fact. I'm sorry. Love is love. Right? I mean, cultural appropriation is bad. The patriarchy sucks, right? To me, those are non-negotiable. That's just the way it is. So if you want to come at me in the comments on some of my videos when I make weird little asides about stuff like that, have at her. You're welcome to, but you're going to be told you need to read the room. So yeah, I guess all of that is just to say, you know, I got a good life. I have a great life. It's been a lot of work to get to where I'm at 46 years old. But, well, almost 46, but I feel like I am living my best life. A couple of years ago, I did a servitor back in the fall of 2020. That was really geared towards creating my best life. I worked with it for almost a year until literally my best life was like so overwhelming that I was like, whoa, I need to stop. Like I have all these things in my life that I've always wanted. I've got witchy friends. I've got witchy jobs. I've got witchy community. I'm teaching witchcraft. I'm studying witchcraft. I'm, you know, doing all these things and I love it. And I love that this is my life. But yeah, I was like, okay, we need to like put that servitor on hold for a little while until I can catch up with all the amazingness that my life has become. So that's a little bit about me, where I'm coming from, who I am, what I'm about. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, yeah, if you want to like do a get to know me tag, basically it was just, listen, here's a little bit of information about me. Here's some, you know, a little bit about my craft, a little bit my hobbies, my work, and my opinions, because I think it's important to have opinions and to stand for things in life. So there you go. Have at her. It has been awesome getting to know you guys in November. We will see you next week for the next video in December. Thanks so much, you guys. We'll check you later.